Commissioner Patterson, would you lead us in invocation, please?
Yeah, we'll start off with the opening prayer. Tonight I'd like to ask our EMS director, does a great job, Robert Graham, to lead us in prayer.
Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather as a group, Lord, to make the important decisions for this county. And we ask that you guide our hearts and guide the hearts of the commissioners, Lord, that they would make decisions that would bring honor and glory to your name. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Thank you, please. Gentlemen, before we get started on the agenda, I need to make an amendment to this. Actually, number 8, that's animal control fees. I talked to Ms. Burgess today from Animal Control. Unfortunately, we don't have that ready at this time, so she had asked to be removed. And at the same time, I would like to replace that with an emergency purchase for the fire department. So that being said, is there any discussion on that?
I have none, Chairman.
No, sir.
Okay. That being said, I'll make a motion to amend the agenda and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. So number 2, it's unfinished business. We have the approval of the minutes of the March 26, 2024 regular scheduled board meeting and the minutes of the March 26, 2024 second public hearing. Commissioner Patterson, any errors or omissions in the regular scheduled board meeting?
No, Chairman, I have none.
Commissioner Searcy?
No, sir.
All right, that being said, I'll make a motion to approve those minutes and ask for a second.
I second it.
All in favor? Aye. That brings us to the minutes of the March 26th, 2024 second public hearing. Commissioner Patterson, any errors or omissions in those?
No, sir, Chairman, I have not.
Commissioner Searcy?
No, sir.
All right. If so, I'll make a motion to approve those minutes as well and ask for a second.
No, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, number 3 under unfinished business is the board discussion action. This was a variance request tabled from last meeting for Mr. Tech Lim to place more than 24 apartments on the property. Gentlemen, after some discussion today with at least one of the parties, they've asked to see if we could table this to our next regular meeting as well. They're trying to work out some issues, and they've asked us if we would table this again. So, any thoughts on that?
I have no issues on it.
Great emergency or need, I don't see why we couldn't.
Okay. That being said, I'll make a motion to table this till our next regular meeting that we have in April. So I'll make that motion, ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
brings us to number 4, which is new business. We have board discussion and action from Fannin County Tax Commissioner Rita Newton regarding an updated computer tax collection system. Ms. Newton?
I brought my support for these.
There you go. I forgot mine.
We're all- This is Christine Odom and Julie Walker from my office, and Jody Cersey, Jamie Hensley, Lynn Doss, the county attorney, Glenn Patterson, and Kenny Walker.
Nice to meet y'all.
So what I'm here to do is to ask you to amend my budget for $39,995 for a computer upgrade. It's a tax system upgrade, but we haven't had an upgrade in over, it's been more than 25 years. And the system we're running off of is very dated. The suite system would allow us to tie into the assessor's office, and it would also allow us to do reports and payouts much more efficiently. And Christina would like to show you just a couple of screens, we won't be long, about how this is better. And then Julie would like to say just a few words. She looked at the system in depth and really was impressed with it. So I'll let Julie tell a few things about what she saw with it, and then I'll let Christine show you that, and then y'all can help me determine if you feel like this is a good way for me to ask you to amend my budget for this amount of money. And there's also some options that Christine has if we can't do it all this year, maybe a split between this year and next year, and go ahead with the install.
How much is that increase, Rita?
$39,995.
Okay, thank you.
And I would like to say that I've been coming in under budget every year, and just last year, I was under budget, $28,000 under budget, so generally my budget is under budget, and, I've never, asked for anything above my budget before.
Okay.
Do you think you can pinch pennies to push this in? No.
I think we can. So, let Julie go ahead and tell you.
Well, all I can really, advise is just being a clerk at the window. So when she came and presented this to us, I mean, it was just like, we were just amazed at how proficient and everything that this does for us would help us collect taxes for the county easily and efficiently, and payouts. There are times we have to do corrections to the digest after we've been billed out by the tax assessor's office. They send over ACOs, we do corrections, easily process with that. The main thing is, one of the bigger things for me is how we're gonna be tied to Q Public. Right now, if somebody sells their property mid-year, and let's say at the closing table, the new owner was required to pay the taxes. Well, the January 1st owner, they're not paying it because they know at their closing table, the new owner was required to pay it. So they're gonna dismiss that deal. Well, we have to research and see who the new owner is, and that's flipping over to Q Public. We're digging over there, we're digging over here, we're trying to get a bill to that new owner. With this, we're tied together, so there's no more flipping and all this, we're all connected. So a lot of that information is provided with this new system, which helps us to collect it quicker and get out the bill to the new owner. And then just all the reports and stuff that we're required to do by law, to get in at a certain time and all that. We're in there crunching numbers, doing the calculator, we're doing all this paperwork where it's basically a click of a button with this system. I mean, it's just, we're in amazement to think that we're coming from 1990 to 2024. There's a lot. And, if the budget allows, I know all the workers and myself would be pleased to have this new system.
I'm assuming that might work. So I'm Christina, and I'm with Harris, and I I've had the pleasure to work with the county for the last 2 years in tax collection. Yeah, so I do put a couple of slides together, high level. I don't want to bog you down if you're interested in looking at it. Still works, I said.
Make sure it's up and then I'll turn it off.
Do I need to turn it
Yeah,
back
give 'em-
on?
That's- I got it right here. Is it ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Major Moses. You care to flip the lights, please? Thanks, sir.
Am I on, I guess? That's on. No. How do I connect here? Did I lose connection?
Thank you.
I see that.
Is it going? There we go.
Okay. Ah, okay. So, 8 slides, so I'll keep it quick. I'll kind of read through, you don't need to read this. So basically the tax collection system you've been using for the last 25 years is DOS-based. It's an AS400 IBM. Discontinued in 12 years ago. We still support it. We will continue to support it. But it comes with a lot of limitations, which is why we've started to let our clients know that we're moving over to the Microsoft SQL platform. A lot more flexibility, becomes Windows operation. This is what your tax collection screen looks like right now. This is what your clerks are using to collect your county taxes. F1 keys, F11, F7, F. So this is the DOS system, and while it served the county well, it's limited in its growth capability. We have moved over to a Windows platform. As I said, it's Microsoft SQL. It's still hosted, so it minimizes any hardware investment costs for the county, but it is a full cloud solution. This is what that screen looks like. So you would be moving basically from the 20th century to the, or 19th century to the 21st century. So these are just, it enhances all of the capability on what we can deploy in the system. All of your tabs, if you could see, you know, at the top, it's a single screen that they can access everything from. A couple of the key benefits from a clerk perspective is it's point and click, so you no longer have to teach clerks F keys. It operates similar to drives, which is what the state, your tag system is, so it's something they're already familiar with. It allows them wildcard search options in any field, which makes it a lot more efficient for use. Client comes in or a constituent, you're looking by name, address, street name. You can put in a partial street and it'll show you anything that matches it. So it makes it a little bit easier for them to find the information. Some of the high levels, it's a higher network security. You no longer need a VPN. For security purposes, right now we have to run a VPN into our network centers to protect the data that we support for the whole state of Georgia. It'll be a full cloud with built-in encryption, so that enhances the security for the county.
So it's better protection then, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes. And it's also real-time reporting. So right now, if your constituent makes a payment, we have to post it in the middle of the night in the older system. In this new system, we integrate, so it's real-time reporting. So if somebody makes an online payment, it reduces refunds because somebody will pay it online, don't think it got paid, pay it in the office. You can import mortgage payments. If you've had any experience with that, they give you the check the last day. You can actually post your mortgage payments in 3 minutes. You import the file and post. So there's just a lot of enhanced capability with it. Julie, the audit, which you were talking about, the reports, right now, even though we have integrated counting, a lot of the tax commissioners still have to do external reports for auditors. All of the reports are built in, everything. So, the two things for that: eliminates manual error. The other part is it's transparent. So what's going into the system is exactly what's coming out for the auditors.
So
Sherry,
there's less opportunity for mistakes.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
And there isn't any auditor report that they've asked for that's not in there. So that just makes it easier for them to print, click of a button, and they're pulling information from that. As she talked about, further integration capability with the assessors, because that runs on Microsoft SQL as well. So your QPublic, WinGap, any of that, they run in the same platform. So you have further integration with that. Of course, we do built up data resiliency as we do today. None of that changes. And then the other thing that I think that our team has done really well with is we give sandbox training to all of our clients. So we've got Paulding and Harrelson they're actually training in their own, on the system right now in their own database before they cut over. So just streamlines the process for your constituents so that your clerks are ready. And it's a one-time upgrade cost of $39.95. That includes your client licenses. It includes all the services and training that you would need. Your existing service, maintenance service that you have now will just transfer over to this. There's no additional cost for that. So, and I think that's it. Any questions or?
How long would it take to get this up and running?
It's about a
Training and everything?
about a 4 to 6 month process. So, and the customers decide when they want to go live. So that depends on them with Tax Digest, right? Because that's a real busy time. So, but I would estimate 4 to 6 months is about average, because we have to, once we pull all your existing data, we have to validate it and balance it for the last 10 years. So by law, you're required to do 7. We bring 10 just in case.
Okay.
That'll be the 1 year somebody asks for something.
There you go.
But we do maintain your history of your other 15 years. But
Will there be someone on site training our folks?
yes, sir. We do a combination of training. So initially, we do some online training with webinars. It's the same team they work with today. So they already know your county. They know your requirements, because every county is a little different. They know your tax codes, etc. And then they actually do, they'll do 2 trainings on site. So one would be initial before you go live, and then we actually bring somebody on site the day you go live. So it just kind of gives a comfort level.
How long has this been up and running as far as the
So
software
Smart
itself?
Fusion's been out about 5 years. So yeah, we've made some enhancements to it as more and more clients deployed. Our first client went live just before COVID, which was Camden County. They still use it, Camden County, Georgia. And then it was kind of a lull because of COVID. So we've just started picking up. We've been cutting over about 2 clients. We have about 68, I think, clients in Georgia using TBS. And of those, 14 have migrated over, and we've got 4 more that'll go in the next couple months. Which, like I said, it's Tiff, Brian, and then we've got Harrelson and Paulding going as well. So it's a very stable product. We continue to make enhancements to it as we can when we deliver.
Gilmore just went, didn't they?
Yeah, and as we deploy, we're finding clients are, hey, can we do this? A new feature that we're adding is integration with delinquent tax collectors. So they can actually, you can just send the file directly from the system, and they can do your delinquent tax collections.
Does this price include the first year, 2 years, whatever you got, calls or whatever, if they need any help?
So you already have a maintenance
Okay.
So yeah, so this includes, I believe it was, if I go back and look, we had, it's got training, it's got the hosting setup, it's got payment, conversion, but yeah, it's all inclusive. And we, I think I budgeted like 6-8 days, I forget. We do it based on the size of the office. So yeah, everything's inclusive, and all of your existing maintenance on your current product will just transfer over as support. So once you've gone live, it would just transition over to your existing maintenance. So, and, Michael Wood, still the same.
God bless you.
So if we had any problems the first year or two, it'd be covered?
It's covered, yes, sir.
How long have you been working with the county at our tax office, helping them?
2 years.
2 years?
So I served public safety for 20 and came over to public sector 2 years ago.
Well, good for you.
So, thank you. I enjoy it. It's a little bit more low-key, different pressures, a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money and people are
A lot
responsible
less
for.
stress.
So, yes.
And Harris, how long has the company been in business?
40 years.
40 years.
So, yeah, I actually support 3 states, Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi, and do tax assessment, or tax collection and assessment primarily in most of the states. We do some stuff in GIS as well. But yeah, Harris has been around 40 years. We actually have a whole team in Georgia, so that supports. We have, I think 6 right now in Georgia, and then we're looking at 2 more additional personnel. And then we have about 40 people on our development team that are all over the country.
Ray, your officers are good with this product?
Yes, we need this.
You called other people and asked them how they like it?
Everybody loves this. Our system is so dated that we did not realize how
We've inherited a lot of that,
out of date it
bringing everything into there, so.
We've just accepted the way it is for so long, you
Yeah.
know, and then
Yeah, I understand that.
finally, take a look at this, and, I would love to be able to, get the staff going on this over the summer and be ready.
Yeah, it'd be a
for
big
the
upgrade.
system. It's a big upgrade, and then, I'll be leaving on Monday.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
All right, gentlemen, any discussion on this before we
I have none, Chairman.
move forward?
No, sir.
I think it's, well, ironic, I was talking about the old DOS program today and how long it took us to switch over, and it was a good thing while it lasted, for sure, but I do see the need to upgrade and move forward, so. That being said, I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendment, in the amount of $39,995 for the tax commissioner's office for the purchase of new software. I'll make that motion, ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I expect y'all to be at the go live.
Thank y'all so much.
You're welcome.
Christine's got to travel back to Atlanta to catch a flight, so I'm going to see her out.
Yeah, well, thank y'all for
I
coming.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Julie's gonna stick around and inform us.
All right. All right, so continuing on, number 5 is board discussion action. We have Fannin County Major and Chief Deputy Major Bozen regarding the purchasing of equipment. Major Bozen?
Good evening. So, About a month ago, I was before you in reference to our courthouse security and video system, which you did approve at that time. Since then, we did a walkthrough with the company and realized that I actually omitted a few things. Really didn't omit it, I just forgot about it. So there was a few things, for instance, if you look under doors, I highlighted some doors that I missed in certain offices that should have had locks installed on them. One of which was our rear stairwell on the back side of the building. And then our voting registrar's office or voting office, I missed both of their doors completely. So that one is on me. I missed those doors, but it does come at an expense that we didn't get approved. Back to the top under the cameras, we started looking at, there were several areas that were going to be missed as far as, again, the second and third hallway. The distance where the cameras would be placed would be at a distance to where you would not be able to see and or hear a lot of things going on in the hallway. So we were advised to put a second camera in at the other end of that hallway. Moving on, there were another camera location in the tax commissioner's office. They have such a large lobby where that camera is placed inside one of the doors, you'd never hear what's going on at the other end of the lobby. And for the safety of those employees, we added that other camera at the other end of the lobby, so we'll be able to hear what's going on, whether it's to the left and or to the right of that camera. Walking through, we had several requests from several different departments as we started telling them what was going on. The Superior Court came in, they had a specific need. That will be Judge Sosby's office. They have a court reporter's office inside of their office in there. It has to be maintained and locked and only accessible by the court reporters because evidence is stored in there while they're having trials. Currently, they have one key to that office, and if they lose that key, we'll be calling a locksmith and a bunch of people to come in and try to change that thing out. They requested that that door be added to our card system. That way, the only people that have access to that and it can be given and taken away, obviously, will be those court reporters. So that was a need that they had requested. And we saw it as a great need for them to be able to get in and out of that room. The commissioner's office talked with me at great length about a couple of cameras that we were looking at and placing in specific places. We had some blind spots. And so while talking with them about things that we missed, things that we needed to add, there were a couple of cameras that we moved placement. Everybody knows that the elevators, you can stand in an elevator and nobody can hear what you're saying out in that little lobby area on the second, third level. And a lot of times, most of you know that when you come out of a courtroom, they may be saying things either about the judge or what they're gonna do to an individual or what have you, and that's where the threats are being made. Most of them know we have camera systems in the hallway that have audio on them, so they wait till they get to the elevators to start making their threats. We're gonna fix that and put a camera with audio outside of each elevator. That way we're not missing those areas that need to be covered for the safety of not only the persons coming and visiting, but the employees inside the building.
That ain't infringing on any, like the attorney-client privilege thing, is it?
No, sir, they have rooms that they can go to outside of the courtrooms, does not have any audio or video in those rooms. And they all know that those rooms are there for that purpose. So this is a public area.
Yeah.
Anytime you're in a public area, we can record and videotape anything. You know it walking into the building that there's video and audio devices in it, so you take your chances. And a lot of people do take chances and make a lot of threats.
And those signs are out front of the courthouse.
I don't know if we have them out.
But we will, won't we?
We probably should put some out there, but it's a public area.
Yeah.
You're walking
Well,
down the
for
sidewalk,
security.
you're walking down the sidewalk, you don't have a sign that says, hey, video and audio recording in progress. You're in public. But it's a great idea.
But you're entering a government building.
Yes, and you should know that they're gonna have some
Yeah.
security
Yeah.
inside that building, so a sign would not cost much to put
No,
out there.
okay.
Very, very little at all. So at the bottom of that, you can see the breakdown cost between the different departments that have requested some upgrades. And we can go through them if you like, but I know you can read for yourself. About $3,000 for Superior Court, $1,100 and change at the tax office. The commissioner's office was the big one because we added those cameras on the hallways and in the elevators. That was $4,000. The sheriff's office has one door that will be included on this, and that's in our patrol division for card access. And then again, your voting office, those are the doors that were missed. So I tried to break them down, and it all equates out to $10,970 addition based on their request.
So for one door, it was $1,280?
Well, what you have to remember is you have, say, 20 units on that floor.
Yeah.
And these boxes that you put in to control these boxes can only handle so many doors, so many cameras, things of that nature. And when you add specific doors, you have to add not only a controller, but a power unit, and there's cabling, so it adds a little bit more every time. So a few boxes had to be added to accommodate each floor to make sure they could open and close each door.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So that was a grand total of $10,970, in addition to what has already been approved, for your consideration.
And so that will cover it all?
That will cover everything. We went through this fine tooth and comb again to make sure we didn't omit, we didn't miss anything. I think I've been to the commissioner's office a couple of times, trying to make sure that we get the security for the citizens and the employees in the building covered, so we don't have to come back later and add a door here or a door there.
And there again, this is a major upgrade.
Huge.
That's been a long time coming.
Huge upgrade. We've been trying to do this probably 8 years. But it's really never worked out, and it was always a lot of money. And a lot of people didn't want to see this come, but,
Times have changed.
somebody leaves and they have a key and they don't give it back, well, then you start looking at how many keys and how many locks you gotta replace.
Well, going to the card system's a lot cheaper, I think, than always buying keys and stuff.
Yes, So again, a couple of these items on here were my fault, but when you start dealing with every door in this facility and then the doors beyond those,
Yeah.
You're bound to miss something.
Yeah.
So, I didn't miss 3 doors when I started looking at it. I don't think that's too bad for
No,
all the doors.
no, some upgrades, we missed some stuff, I guess.
Well, they just weren't there, I don't think, to begin with, some of these.
Some of them
like
were
there's
not on the
nothing-
plans, it just,
There's nothing in by the elevators and like the back hall down to there was nothing there.
Major, what's the time frame on saying all this completed?
So once this is approved, if it's approved, I will get a hold of the contractor and let him know. It may be at least 30 days before he can have all the equipment on site and begin work. They're gonna start on the 3rd floor first, which is the greatest need. As you know, that our back secure hallway has what's called a magnetic lock on it as we speak. If the power goes out, that lock stays locked, and you gotta pry that door open to get out. That's a fire hazard for those
Yeah.
people that work back there. And especially in Superior Court, because they have one on the front and the back, they can't get out. Unless somebody's here that can come in and make sure that that battery power doesn't run out or reset it very quickly, we can't get them out of the building. So we wanna make sure that we start there where the greatest need is first. He says 3 to 4 weeks he should be done. So sometime in June, we should be complete with this project.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I guess that's coming out of the.
All right, gentlemen, any discussion on that before we?
I have no discussion.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm good.
All right. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the additional amount of $10,970.99, to get this completed. I'll ask for a second.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so number 7, we have our Human Resource Director, Jesse Hall. Would she'd like to present us here.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
We skipped number 6.
We did skip number 6, didn't we?
Patrick,
I'm sorry.
go ahead. Come back to it. It kind of looked
Sorry
alarming.
about that.
She wanted to go first.
She did, she sent me text that I didn't get out. My apologies. We okay with switching? Okay, all right, go ahead, Jesse, my bad.
So I come to you this afternoon to talk about providing insurance to our retirees. So, human resource, taking care of our employees, and even taking care of them after they retire. So I reached out to John Leggett. So he is our representative from MSI. So MSI is our insurance broker. So I reached out to him to talk to him about, you know, what would be, how we could do this. So talking back and forth with him, he told us that there would be no extra cost from United Healthcare for us to cover our retirees. So it wouldn't be an extra cost for us to include them through United Healthcare. There would be like a premium because we would be taking on the retiree's full cost instead of that retiree having to pay for the insurance. So we would be taking care of them 100% of the cost would be what it would be instead of them paying the percentage that they do would carry. So we talked about putting some rules to that eligibility. So once someone reaches the age of 62, you can retire with the county and draw your pension. And then at 65, you would be able to draw your full retirement pension. So there would be a little bit of a loss if somebody retired at 62, but most of our employees want to stay to 65 because they cannot find insurance at a good price. So options for purchasing health insurance on their own isn't like a great market right now for anybody. So talking about the different rules for the eligibility, putting like a rule of you have to work for the county, say 15 years, and then be at least 62 to be able to, for us to cover your insurance. If they became disabled before the 65 years of age, then, and say was on Social Security then they could, we could drop them from our coverage. That would just be kind of some of the eligibility rules that we would need to put into effect, but we could talk more in depth about what the rules would be. But right now, that is kind of what we're looking at. It would actually save the county money by doing this because we often have, you know, people that are working for this county for, you know, 20 plus years, and they're wanting to stay with us to keep the insurance. And once they leave, we will be saving their salaries basically and only covering the insurance.
Would that work until age 67?
65.
Yeah, but we could give it, what I'm saying is that at age 67,
Mm-hmm.
that's when their Medicaid, Medicare and all that comes into effect, correct?
65.
65.
65?
Mhm.
So we would keep them covered until 65?
Until 65, yeah.
So if you just have single coverage right now, we cover 100% regardless, right? Is single coverage free other than
Yes,
I&L?
correct, yeah.
Okay.
So that is with our two different plans. We have a high deductible plan, and we have a traditional plan. So the high deductible plan is a $3,500 deductible. So if you have that high deductible plan, it's no cost for our employees for that insurance. If you have the traditional plan, I think it's like $26 and some change right now. Yeah.
So that, and basically that's what we would be looking at, the additional. cost.
The additional cost.
So so 15 years of service would be,
Yeah, we
you'd
could
be
say-
eligible to draw with 15 years of
Yes,
service.
and be 62.
62.
Yes. Yeah.
Would it have to be 15 years immediately prior to retirement? Or could somebody have worked for the county for 15 years, left the county, and then at a certain, I think.
So we looked into that also, say some employees have worked for us for so long, say 17 years, and for some reason they left. Well, then they came, or I'm sorry, not 17 years, say 9 years. And then they came back and started working for us again, and they have accumulated years after that. We're gonna take the combined years of service and provide the insurance that way.
That'll help get employees.
I think it would be
Something to
an
think
excellent
about. I mean,
service.
what you just, I understand what, is there, so if an employee left after 9 years, say,
Mhm,
and say he was gone for 4 years and he come back,
mhm.
you gonna honor his 9 years?
Yes, we would.
Okay. Okay.
But they would have had to have retired from Fannin immediately prior to earning this eligibility. In other words, it couldn't be somebody that worked for the county in years past and had 15 years.
Right, it's
Right.
gotta be going now, cause we couldn't go,
Right.
yeah,
They wouldn't be able to do that. They have to retire from the county now.
Right, yeah.
no.
Yeah, you wouldn't, like a grandfather in or anything like that, yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think these individuals that's put in 15, 20, 30, 40 years into the county, that's at least what we can do for them. Cause, you know, some people, you know, between 62 and 65, you know, that they would have no insurance unless they went out on their own. And insurance on your own is not cheap.
No.
The county covers 85% of each employee's insurance right now.
So if the employee hit 62, he could go ahead and retire, and they wouldn't have to worry about, would they keep their same plan for their family?
Well, we were only gonna do the individual employees, yes.
Okay. Somebody's gonna be left out, ain't they?
Would they have an option to pay that? If-
We could do that, we could.
I think they ought to have the option.
Yeah.
Some counties actually do that.
I think
They
they ought to
cover
have the
either
option.
they'll cover individuals and the family members also. A lot of the,
I think they ought to have the option. That would be a good, that would be good for these department heads to be able to offer people, keep people here.
I think it would be a great incentive to keep
Yeah.
employees and even draw employees in.
Something to think about.
They got 30 years before I can do that.
Yeah, right.
Sounds-
I'm
I only
in my
have
prime.
Any other questions?
No, it's gives us a lot to think about.
I like it, it helps our employee package, you know, good people are hard to find these days.
You gonna get that on paper? Let's see something on paper. I'd like to see something on
Yeah,
paper.
I've done some research on it, so I pulled, 45 to 55, and then 55 to 65 to see how many employees that we have right now that would fall into that. So have done some research on it.
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, if there's no other discussion, what I'd like to do is make a motion on this, to table it till our next meeting. They give you plenty of time to
Yes.
make a present, put something on paper for us to look at. And, make a motion, we table it till our next meeting, and that way it gives us some time to think about it as well.
Yep.
Look over all the numbers to make sure that this is,
Affordable when we can do it.
yeah, what we want, and then we could possibly make a decision then, so. I'll make that motion and ask for a second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you, and you gotta come back next time. Number, no, I'm just kidding. Deputy EMA Director Patrick Cook regarding purchasing of equipment.
So last year EMA was fortunate enough to start a drone program. which is able to support law enforcement, fire, EMA on searches, and we can help every department in the county. That program was funded completely through community donations in excess of $36,000. They purchased the drones, the batteries, all the equipment for us to be able to do that. Currently, we have 3 licensed pilots. Myself, Will Reed is our chief pilot, and Josh Curtis. And we're still looking to expand our number of pilots. But anyway, currently this equipment is kept in a private vehicle. We've had the opportunity to come up that a private donor has offered to help us purchase a vehicle, half of a vehicle, up to $17,500 for it. And so we would like to request Public Safety SPOS money to fund the other $17,500. The vehicle that they found is a 2020 F-150 for a total price of $35,000. So that's what we'd like to look at purchasing.
So these, you have how many drones?
We currently have 3 drones.
So you keep these drones where?
So I've got one in my truck, and then the others are in Will's truck, his private vehicle, because he's the chief pilot for the county currently.
And these are county vehicles?
No, his is not, mine is. But
One,
we would like to get this put into a county vehicle, yes.
have it basically set up like a squad.
Correct,
You know,
yeah. Something that the pilot could respond out of to any incident and deploy the drones.
And we don't have no vehicles up there that you can convert to that?
We've looked around, and it's been hard to locate something that would be appropriate.
How big are these things?
The largest, well, help me out here, how big is
The largest drone we have is at 13 pounds. It's a $15,000 drone. It's a thermal operated drone for everything and the accompaniment of the software and equipment. So the back seat of my truck right now, because you need to be able to deploy rapidly, especially the biggest one is law enforcement. We've been helping the state troopers, DNR, and law enforcement. So staging the drone somewhere, like if it stays, you can't just let it sit out at station 1 or anywhere because this is sensitive equipment. Right, like a lot of times it's locked up in Patrick's office, which he'll have to come meet to have a key. So I've kept it in my car because if we had one, GSP had or this one wasn't a pursuit, but GSP had a bailout on the dam, and in my personal car I had to respond. And the sooner you can get there with all the gear set up, allows for a better search essentially. But the back seat of my car has 8 cases in it right now, totaling about 100 pounds for all the gear for that. And you also need generator capacity to charge the batteries. So we carry 12 batteries to have continuous searchability. So it's not just the drone, it's the accompaniment with the drone of a truck to hold all the equipment, be able to stage it all, to deploy it in an effective manner.
So this is property of the fire department?
We fundraised, yes, well, it's property of the EMA.
Well, EMA.
Yeah, we fundraised and got all of this, and some citizens got together and purchased the entire drone. We were one of the only counties that didn't have modern thermal capabilities for search and rescue. And these people got together and funded the drone entirely, funded the software for it, the training for all of it, and then they're also willing to kind of get it up and running. They said, if y'all find a vehicle, what you think you need, how it would all work, we'll fund half of the vehicle.
Who's they?
I can't exactly say that. They want to remain anonymous.
anonymous donors in the community?
But they are citizens of Fannin County that have also helped with other projects. They funded all the containers for the burn building for the fire department. At Station 7 for the training department for fire, EMA, EMS. They got the forcible entry door that the sheriff's department just trained on a week ago. It's a group of concerned citizens.
So this vehicle's gonna be titled under the EMA then, right?
Yes, sir.
Board of Commissioners. Right.
Okay.
And it would
It'd be under
basically
control
set up
of the
at,
EMA, yeah.
yeah, basically set up at Station 1 just like any other vehicle we have, right? Okay.
Set up a response.
And all these drones are gonna be kept in this one vehicle?
Strategically placed. So right now, We have 3 pilots. One of the drones is the backup drone, which is an outdated drone that the thermal, for all intents and purposes, doesn't work. It lives in Patrick's office. One currently lives in my truck, and one's in Patrick's truck. So we can deploy. So like on a lot of searches, you actually use more than one drone. Almost all searches, actually.
So this is gonna be like a emergency unit sitting there, a drone unit, emergency drone unit.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is this truck spec'd out for, I mean, does it need anything else on this? I mean, is there an additional cost for us to
Nope, the only cost
spec
is
this thing out?
the 17.5, and the donors have agreed to outfit it and put all the lights and stuff on it, so that would be the only cost to the county, is the half the vehicle.
Not to interrupt him to add to this, there was another donation that, to outfit Patrick's EMA truck, and if we got a drone truck, there's already an account sitting that, it was a $9,500 donation to put the deck system, a cap, essentially set up like how Patrick's truck looks now and how Larry's truck. We already had a donation that outfitted Patrick's truck and this truck if we're able to get it. In addition to what he was talking about of the other donations we already received.
All right. Well, we're thankful for our donors, there's no doubt about that. Where would we be without our volunteers and our donors? Well, it's amazing that people come together and see a need like that and are willing to step up to help. And we're just so thankful for it. But that being said, gentlemen, you got any other discussion on this?
I do not, Chairman.
Mr. Searcy?
Where did the money come from?
Public safety sponsor?
Public safety sponsor.
17,000?
17.5.
This will be lettered up and everything, if in accordance
With
with
a
it.
swash sticker paid for too on that truck?
Yeah. All right, with that being said, I'll ask for a motion to approve the 17.5 for the purchase of this vehicle. And I'll ask for that motion.
I make a motion.
I'll ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right,
Work.
thank you. All right. So gentlemen, you know, number 8, we changed over to an emergency purchase. You have a quote, I think in your file. This is from Roper's Heating and Air, I think Fire Chief Thomas. We have a heating and cooling unit that has went out at Station 3. I believe that unit has given us some issues in the past, and I think it just completely went out. So he had asked to be put on this agenda, and obviously he was trying to get us the price. He did it very last minute, so that's why we done the amendment. But as you can see, it's the unit is, and it totals $4,900. I think this would also be paid out of public safety splosh, correct? So, any discussion on this?
No, sir.
Looks like it's needed.
All right. So that being said, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of this heat and cooling unit for $4,900 and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, that brings us down to going over the ordinances here. So that brings us to our first one is board discussion action on short-term rental ordinance. As we know, we've had 2 public hearings in regard to a lot of these ordinances. We've taken into consideration a lot that has been said. We've even, reached out legally on some things, and we feel that we've made all the necessary changes to keep us legally compliant in that sense. And one thing about all these ordinances is just like what happened last fall. If something's not right, we can always come back and amend it. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, ordinances are always a work in progress. So as things change, we have to change with it. So, so this this, tonight would be, the approval or the denial, or, tabling or whatever of ordinances. So, the first one on the agenda is the short-term rental ordinance. So, gentlemen, do y'all have any discussion on the short-term rental ordinance before we move forward?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say, first of all, appreciate all the input that we've gotten from Fannin County citizens. Of course, this has probably by far been the most debated, contested. People on both sides of the issue, some for, some against. We tried to look at it in the right way. Now, I think, I feel good about what we've done with it. Because we have looked at everything, and like you say, it is a work in progress. It's something that we can modify and change, and we're not gonna please everybody. That being said, Commissioner, I have some individuals that are connected with this short-term rental, so I'll be recusing myself from this vote for that reason.
All right. Please on you. I'm just kidding. Commissioner Preston.
Ooh, baby.
I'm gonna accuse myself too, so he's gotta do it.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, poor old judge. Well, I think that we have tried to be very open-minded, about listening to everybody's concerns. And people has a lot of concerns. So I think that what we've done and what this group has done as far as trying to come to a happy medium about this, you know, I think we've done a decent job. And like you said, there is, if we have made a mistake, I think that we can look and see if we need to do any further corrections. But it's a start, and I feel good that we've done that. So I'm good with it. I mean, you know.
Well, like I say, this, I'm not gonna lie to you, I really haven't had any sleepless nights, because I get so wore out that I just go home and pass out, so. But this has, you know, we've heard for and against for both sides of this, and, you know, as we stated, I believe in our last meeting, that we're definitely not trying to put anybody out of business. We try to be mindful of everybody, and I even spoke to a gentleman today, and we try to please everybody, we know we can't, but it's not for lack of trying. And anybody knows, I think any one of us three knows that we try to do just that. And maybe that's a downfall in life, is trying to please everybody, you know. But I guess that's gonna be my downfall, because I'm gonna try to please as many as I can. And if you're not pleased, maybe you just can't be pleased. Who knows? But we will do the best that we can in everything that we do. And I think everybody that's in here, I look back through here, and I believe I've talked to every individual in here at one point in time or another over some issue or something. And I think, not to brag, but I think that speaks volumes of this board, that we're willing to listen. And we're willing to try to make those changes to accommodate everybody. So, but like I say, with this, you know, if there's something in here that we've missed or we need to go back and look at, we can do that at a different time. So, but the short-term rental, nothing else?
No, I mean, you know, we've tried to add things that we felt was, like, you know, just going over it. I mean, everything that's here is something a lot of them are already doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've heard, you know, just like on the parking or just like on the roads, we've addressed everything that you can address to try to be fair and honest and right down the middle with it. So I mean, I don't, you know, I think it's gonna work fine if everybody it's teamwork, if everybody just works.
All right, well, that being said, I'll make a motion to approve the short-term rental ordinance as we revised it the last time. I'll make that motion and ask for a second.
I second.
All in favor? Me and you. All right.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
to the land development ordinance. Once again, the same deal. We were able to listen to a lot of different folks, and we feel we're as close as we can be right now at this point in time. And we need to revisit them, we will. So, Commissioner Patterson, you can't get out of this one, so.
No, I think it's good. I think, again, we worked on it and discussed it and got good input from the public. So, I feel good about it.
Commissioner Sturson?
No, sir, I'm good.
All right, I'll ask for a motion that we approve the land development ordinance.
I'll make that motion.
I'll ask for a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. So that brings us to the mobile home and RV park ordinance. I don't think there were actually much changes in that to begin with, was there?
No,
No, there was not.
So I will, any discussion on this, gentlemen?
no,
No,
sir.
I have none.
I'll make a motion that we approve the mobile home and RV park ordinance. Ask for a second.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Brings us to our noise ordinance. Gentlemen, this was another one that was, I want to say not contested, but we got a lot of input on the noise ordinance. I still feel that, this is a brand new one for us. That I don't think we've ever had a noise ordinance, correct?
We had one.
Okay. So, that being said, you know, we put it on, I think everybody saw that, we feel like we've done the best we could at this time, but this one is definitely gonna be a work in progress in my mind. So,
Chairman, I think it needs to be noted that, this is not just a noise ordinance for the
Oh,
STR.
for sure.
This is
No, that's
a
for
noise
everybody.
ordinance
yeah,
for Fannin
It's
County.
Fannin County.
Yeah.
All
it
over,
is.
covers all over Fannin County, so that's why you got it marked here.
so we're not just picking on somebody,
Right.
but that means I've gotta whisper when I get to the house. That's not good. My wife needs to whisper. I'm
I'll
scared.
tell mine, I just pass the noise on the screen, we no more.
All right, so, any discussion on this, gentlemen?
No, sir.
All
I
right,
have none.
I'll make a motion, we pass the noise ordinance as written at this time and ask for a second.
I second it.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. The reporting of collections of timber tax.
The only thing that we changed on those was to comply with current state requirements.
Okay, all right. Any discussion on that, gentlemen?
No, sir.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the reporting and collections of timber tax and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next one is the regulation of adult entertainment ordinance.
We did check them.
I think everything was all right on that one too, for the time being. So any discussion on that, gentlemen?
No.
no.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the regulation of adult entertainment ordinance and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Alcoholic beverage ordinance, I know we put in there where we could limit it to 6-pack a day, and somebody got mad about that, so we took it out.
Only pint, didn't
Yeah. I don't think we actually changed that, did we?
No, sir, I don't know if we changes.
Okay. All right, any discussion on that, gentlemen?
No, I have none.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the alcoholic beverage ordinance and ask for a second.
we? Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Cemetery ordinance, I know there was a change in the cemetery ordinance, to where there was a setback, if you will.
You could still bury on private property, but you have to observe a setback from your neighbor's property line.
Yeah, and I think we, what was
And there was
that?
also a requirement for like, and this affects no church cemetery,
25 feet.
25 feet.
yes,
So that actually would be from both property lines.
correct.
So in essence, a 50-foot buffer, if you will. Okay.
And 100 feet from drinking water.
Got it. All right, any discussion on this, gentlemen?
no.
All right, it said I'll make a motion to approve the cemetery ordinance.
I
And
say,
ask, okay, all in favor? Next one was the destruction of county signs ordinance. I don't think there was much, we were just asking the police don't do that no more. So, any discussion on that, gentlemen?
I have none.
No, sir.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance pertaining to the destruction of county signs, and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The historic preservation ordinance. Any discussion on this?
I don't think they changed it, pretty much state standard,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir.
That being said, I'll make a motion to approve the historic preservation ordinance, and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Indigent defense ordinance.
Sir, I think we basically decided that that is no longer needed. It's been
Right.
usurped by state law.
Right.
So we can strike that altogether, right?
Yes, no, it would just be a vote to abolish that ordinance.
Well, I will make that vote. I will make that motion to abolish that ordinance, and ask for a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Brings us to the keeping of wild and exotic animals. And I think that kind of falls under the state regulations too, in that sense, from what Ms. Woody had told me.
Yes.
And we adopted that based on the state recommendations.
Correct.
Any discussion on this, gentlemen?
No, sir.
No.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve that ordinance as well, and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next one is the enforcement officer ordinance. This one was it fairly new as well?
Yes, it's so that we get, it's to bring us up to the requirements for issuing summonses as opposed to citations, and then so that our code enforcement officer can go and do what our code enforcement officer needs to do.
Yeah. Any discussion on this, gentlemen?
No, sir.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the enforcement officer ordinance. Ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And our last one is the pseudo-ephedrine ordinance, and again, Ms. Doss, I believe we had discussed that we could actually abolish this one as well.
Vote to abolish that, because state law says don't do it.
Right on. So I'll make a motion to abolish that ordinance.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's two that we don't have to go through next time.
Goodness gracious.
40-something more, and we can just do away with all of them, we'd be good. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that brings us down to public commentary. If anybody has anything to say, come on up and tell us who you are.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you probably know, I was a founding member of the Blue Ridge Lodging Association 15 years ago, and we pretty much died during COVID. But today we had our first meeting in 3 years, so it was very good. Association came together with new members to try to be partners with the county for same goals. We don't want noise, we don't want parties, but that's an update. We're gonna have a lot more. I come here personally as a citizen who, we do a lot of events every year on our property. And I wanted to clarify, I've talked to Jamie and Marie about this. We don't allow events in our cabins. We have 6 cabins that are contiguous on 17 acres. No events, period. People ask, we say no. We do, however, have a space, a chapel that we built next to Dickey Cemetery that was founded in 1842. We respect it, we cleaned it. I've spent $500,000 on this space, and it's great. People love it, they get married there. We have songwriting, painting retreats. Our prices are fair. People can stay overnight, but absolutely no events in a cabin. We get asked that. So I am here to suggest to the board that rather than saying events are $250 for a 48-hour event, I think it ought to be individually based. You know, Lynn's been out to the property, Marie's been out to the property, Dale Dyer has been out to the property and signed his 3 books. So we've, from the get-go, I started this in 1991, from the get-go, with this event space, it's been specifically designed to be appropriate. Monica Hodgkins personally approved the septic. We've got 2 full baths. We've got a septic that is designed and approved for an event outside of the cabins. So I don't think it's appropriate to retroactively say something, whatever that ordinance is, without considering, you know, Enola is another one, Watkins Barn is another one. Those are all, you know, there's, you know, half a dozen of us, maybe 10, they're doing it, trying to do it the right way. We're not having parties. We say on our listings, and I think this could be a requirement by the ordinance, that any listing says, like we say, no immature guests and event, you know, wild parties, you know, and that, if somebody sees that, they're gonna go to, I don't know, Helen to have their party. Not here. We don't want it, you don't want it. We do events for 50 people, right next to a 100-and-something-year-old cemetery. I just think I'd more thought should go into that instead of a
We
blanket.
don't have the special events ordinance yet, and in fact, while we sat here, I sent an email to several people saying we've got next up noise and special events. I will make sure that I get with you.
Please do, because we don't want noise. The last thing we want is noise
I
bothering
said
our
noise,
neighbors.
I'm sorry, lights, because we just did noise.
Lights,
Lights, like, you know, you can't keep LIGHT, so it doesn't
Yeah.
look like you're having a spaceship landing on a mountain at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Totally agree. I bet if you came up with 10 things that you don't want, I don't want them either.
Right, but if venues like yours already meet state health requirements for a tourist attraction, so there would be one part of the ordinance that says if you qualify for this, doing just what you said, you've already got your health approval, then you don't have to go any further.
Okay.
If you're doing something like, you have a facility that is being rented by Pinecrest Studios to do a 2-day location shoot, well, then you need to register, so we know you're gonna be there, so if fire and rescue needs to be aware. You've got adequate bathroom facilities, maybe that's bringing in some porta potties. So that one we're still working on, and unfortunately for you, I even have your cell number.
Fortunately for me, I have yours. So anyway, I just, I think the discussion so far is premature. I'd be happy to be involved. Like I say, 30+ years, I've been very, very careful about, you know, not upsetting the neighbors across the river or whatever. But it's, you know, it's not just, I'm not in it for the money either, believe it or not. It's all about, sounds weird, but carrying on the Dickey legacy, part of it. So it's a great top of the Hogback Mountain. I know Johnny's been out there. So anyway, I'd like to be involved in making it reasonable and responsible. And what I don't want is to have cabins that are having these big old parties. Jamie and I talked about it yesterday morning, that, you know, a cabin that's a 3-bedroom cabin that has 35 people for an event, that is wrong, and that is not what we're doing. I'm not trying to cram as many people in a cabin as I could. I mean, 23 years ago, I built a big cabin and I said, sleeps 21. Well, that was not in my interest. And I realized that, you know, after a couple of frat parties,
I think, what you mentioned several times is the noise ordinance, and I've got here to look at it. It covers a few of those things, several fireworks, for instance, a lot of it's weddings,
yeah,
stuff
see,
like
we
that.
don't, so,
We've got to but we gotta put it more in context.
Here's what I think you should do.
With the
You should
enhance.
get the responsible party, myself in this case, to have to comply with certain things, and I bet everybody, you know, like I say, Nola, Watkins, say I do, every one of us want what you want, guaranteed. Thank you.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone? Wow, this bunch has been a long time. All right, we'll close public commentary.